again. Uh, I was trying to read now that my dogs are gone, and I have some peace and quiet for a little while. Fucking hair, man. Can't get my hair. It's curly hair, dude. Oh my god. Like, I don't. It's just gets. Fuck, man. There's nothing you can do with it. It's just curly. It's curly. It's everywhere. Okay, so let's get back to this story here. It's called The Mead of the Poets. And it is the story of how. Come on, turn on. Let me in. What the hell? Ah, come on, man. I hate this Kindle. It's like an old Kindle, so it doesn't work very well, and it annoys the crap out of me. Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing out of the way so you can see me better. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna have to, like, maybe if I can move this table. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try and move the table. Because I want to get, I want to be in a position where you can actually see me better. So you can see me reading the story better. So that, it feels more like me reading a story to you instead of it feeling like just a story being read partially over a rocking chair thing, I want to be comfortable, and I want to look, be able to read comfortably and get this story read. It's a good story. It's an interesting story. I think it's one of my favorite Norse myths, actually. Okay, so let me go back to the part where so Baugi was one of the giants who was tricked. And okay, so Odin has come to the giants, and he told them that his name is Bolverker. So when I say Bolverker, I'm actually talking about Odin in disguise. Okay, so what happens is uh, Bogey tries to attack Odin and kill him to steal all the mead for himself. And Odin, of course, knows what's going on. And what he does is he quickly transforms into a snake. And and in snake form. So right here is where I'm going to start. Bolverker slid in snake shape through the hole in the mountain until the hole ended and he found himself in a huge cavern. The cavern was lit by crystals with a cold light. Odin transformed himself from snake shape into man shape once more, and not just a man, but a huge man, giant-sized and well-formed. Then he walked forward following the sound of song. Gunlid is the daughter of Sudding. Sudding, if you don't remember, is the giant that went and got the mead, stole the mead from the trolls, and this is what Odin wants back. Because this is the son, this is the blood of his his son basically, and this is the blood of the most favored of all of the gods. All the gods loved him, and his name was Vasir, and all the gods loved Vasir. He was made from the spittle. So there was when the war ended between the Asir and the Aesir and the Vanir. When the war ended, they both, as a pact, spit into a cauldron, and after they had feasted for a while, they decided that instead of wasting the spittle, They should turn it into something. And so Odin put his finger in there and he turned the spittle into a god, Vasir. And Vasir was incredibly wise, and he was incredibly knowledgeable about all things. And when people would ask him questions, he would answer them, and he would answer them in ways it's always truthful and always good advice. And the thing was is that he left Asgard because he wanted to see the world for himself, okay? You know what I mean? It's one thing to hear about the world, it's another thing to see the world for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard stories about all kinds of things, but it doesn't mean I've ever seen them or know anything about them, really. I want, that's why am one of those people who I go to museums to see things for myself. I want to understand it because I want to be able to actually be there and know it, instead of just seeing it in a picture in a book or reading about it somewhere. So that's what Vasir did. When he was traveling the earth, he was killed by these trolls, and they drained him for his blood to make this mead. So here we go. So Gunlid, the daughter of Sudung, stood in the cavern in front of a locked door, behind which were the vats called Sun and Bodin, and the kettle Odrerir. She held a sharp sword in her hands, and she sang to herself as she stood. Well met, brave maiden, said Odin. Gunlid stared at him. I do not know who you are, she said. Name yourself, stranger, and tell me why I should let you live. I am Gunlid, guardian of this place. I am Bolverker, said Odin, and I deserve death. I know, for daring to come to this place. But stay your hand and let me look upon you. Gunlid said, My father, Sudding, set me on guard here to protect the mead of poetry. Bolverker shrugged. Why would I care for the mead of poetry? I came here only because I had heard of the beauty and the courage and the virtue of Gunlid, Sudding's daughter. I told myself, if she just lets you look at her, it will be worth it. If, of course, she is as beautiful as they say in the tales, that was what I thought. Gunlid stared at the handsome giant in front of her, and was it worth it? Berserker, who was about to die? More than worth it, he told her. For you are more beautiful than any tale I've ever heard, or any song that any bard could compose. More beautiful than any mountain peak. More beautiful than a glacier. More beautiful than a field of fresh fallen snow at dawn. Gunlid looked down, and her cheeks reddened. Can I sit beside you? Asked Bolverker. Gunlid nodded, saying nothing. She had food there in the mountain, and drink, and they ate and they drank. And after they ate, they kissed gently in the darkness. After their lovemaking, Bolverker said sadly, I wish I could taste one sip of the mead from the vat called Sun. Then I could make a true song about your eyes, and all men would sing it when they wanted to sing of beauty. One sip, she asked. A sip so small nobody would ever know, he said. But I am in no hurry. You are more important than that. Let me show you how important to me you are. And he pulled her to him, and they made love in the darkness. When they had finished and were curled up together, naked, skin touching skin, whispering endearments, then Bolverker sighed mournfully. What is wrong? Asked Gunlid. I wish I had the skill to sing of your lips, how soft they are, how much better they are than the lips of any other girl. I think that would be an excellent song. That is indeed unfortunate, agreed Gunlid, for my lips are attractive. I often think they are my best feature. Sorry, just a minute. I need to go grab my coffee. As you can tell, my throat's a little scratchy. um, I've been doing a lot of talking lately, so my throat's a little dry. And I was, did a little yelling. Where did I put my coffee. There you are. Oh, coffee. Oh, good coffee. Thank you. You know what? I'm gonna drink some water first. Sorry, just a minute. I'm actually gonna get a cup of. I'm gonna get a glass of water. And I'm gonna get a. Oh, dude, thanks for that, man. I appreciate that, Limits. You're awesome, dude. Okay, I'm gonna grab my coffee cup too. Coffee's good, but water is what really like is good for your throat. So I'm gonna do that. Hey, Limits, did your subscription to me expire? Because um, if it did, I'll gift you I'll gift you a sub again. It's not a problem. That's I mean I gifted you the last one, so dude. Hey, what's up, Scott? How are you, man? Sorry, you're I'm gonna start reading again in just a minute. If you caught the first half of the story, you'll know like exactly what's going on. If you didn't, um, sorry. But it's still a good story either way. It's probably one of the best of the Norse tales that I know of. So, are you sure? Cause I don't mind. Like you're one of my like you're like one of my oldest friends, and I would really feel bad if you didn't have a sub, because if you can't afford it, like that's why I gifted you that first sub, because I know you probably don't have a lot of money, man, and I just like to help out, when I can. I always try and make sure everybody who needs a sub gets one. So yeah. Okay. Wait. What was I gonna do? I don't have to go anywhere. What am I doing? What am I saying? I'm not gonna be right back from anything. I am going to start reading again. Okay. So here we go. Um. Uh. So this is right here. What happens is, if Scott, if you missed a little bit of it, um, what happened is Odin has snuck into the cave where Gunlid, the daughter of the giant who stole the mead, is the guarding the mead, and Odin turned himself. Odin he's a shapeshifter. He can shapeshift into anything. So he turned into the shape of a extremely handsome giant, and he's right now what he's doing is trying to woo Gunlid into letting him have a sip of the mead so that he can get in there and steal it all back. So here we are. He's trying to convince her now by they've been making love. Uh, they Sorry. Let me turn this table. It's I keep bumping into my foot, which is really annoying. Um, I just want to get this right. There we go. Am I in the middle of the screen? Because to me, it looks like I'm in the middle of the screen, but I forgot the chat on. Like, I have the chat on, and it takes up like a quarter of it. And so I'm just wondering if the chat uh, is like if my screen is actually right here, if that puts me in the middle and my chat is moving the screen over, or if I'm in the middle right here, which would be the actual middle, at where but I'm right next to the chat on my screen. I'm in the middle right here. Okay, okay, then I'll just that's good. That's good. I just wanted to know. Okay, so this is here we go. So I'll go back to this. Um, So he says, I wish I had the skill to sing of your lips, how soft they are, how much better they are than the lips of any other girl. I think that would be an excellent song. That is indeed unfortunate, agreed Gunlid, for my lips are very attractive. I often think they are my best feature. Perhaps, but you have so many perfect features. Picking the best of picking the best is so difficult. But if I were to take the tiniest taste from the vat called Bowden, the poetry would enter my soul, and I would be able to make a poem about your lips that would last until the sun is eaten by a wolf. Only the tiniest sip, though, she said, because father would get quite irritable if he thought I was giving away his mead to every good looking stranger who penetrated this mountain fastness. So, they walked to the caverns, holding hands and occasionally brushing lips. Gunlid showed Bolverker. The Bolverker is um, uh, the name that Odin is using as his alias as when he's tricking the giants. So it's whenever I say Bolverker, that's Odin. Just so you know. Um, okay, um, so they walked the caverns, holding hands and occasionally brushing lips. Gunlid showed Bolverker the doors and the windows that she could open from inside the mountain, through which Sudding sent her food and drink, and Bolverker appeared to pay no attention. He explained he was not interested in anything that was not about Gunlid, or her eyes, or her lips, or her fingers, or her hair. Gunlid laughed and told him that he did not mean any of the fine words, and he obviously could not want to make love with her again. He hushed her lips with his lips, and once again they made love. When they were both perfectly satisfied, Bolverker began to weep in the darkness. What's wrong, my love? Asked Gunlid. Kill me, sobbed Bolverker. Kill me now, for I will never be able to make a poem about the perfection of your hair and your skin, or the sound of your voice, of the feel of your fingers. The beauty of Gunlid is impossible to describe. Well, she said, I suppose it can't be easy to make such a poem, but I doubt it's impossible. Perhaps, yes? Perhaps the smallest sip from the kettle of Odrerir would give me the lyrical skills to conjure your beauty for the generations to still come, he suggested, his sobs ceasing. Yes, perhaps it would, but it would have to be the smallest of smallest sips. Show me the kettle, and I will show you just how small a sip I can take. Gunlid unlocked the door, and in the moments she and Bolverker were standing in front of the kettle and the two vats, the smell of the mead of poetry was heady on the air. Just the tiniest of sips, she told him, for 3 poems about me that will echo down through the ages. Of course, my darling, Bolverker grinned in the darkness. If she had been looking at him then, she would have known something was very wrong. With the first drink, he drank every drop of the kettle Odrerir. With the second, he drained the vat called Bowden. With his third, he emptied the vat called Sun. Gunlid was no fool. She realized that she had been betrayed. and she attacked him. She was strong and fast, but Odin did not stay to fight. He ran from there. He pulled the door closed and locked her inside. In the blink of an eye, he became a huge eagle. Odin screeched as he flapped his wings, and the mountain doors opened, and he rose into the skies. Gunlit screams pierced the dawn. In his hall, Sudding woke and ran outside. He looked up and saw the eagle and knew what must have happened. Sudding too transformed himself into eagle shape. The two eagles flew so high that from the ground they were the tiniest of pinpricks in the sky. They flew so fast that their flight sounded like the roar of a hurricane. In Asgard, Thor said, "It is time." He hauled the three huge wooden vats into the courtyard. The gods of Asgard watched the eagles screaming through the sky toward them. It was a close thing. Sudding was fast and close behind Odin, his beak almost touching Odin's tail feathers as they reached Asgard. When Odin approached the hall, he began to spit. A fountain of mead spurted from his beak into the vats, one after another, like a father bird bringing food for his children. Ever since then, we know that those people who can make magic with their words, who can make poems and sagas and weave tales, have tasted the mead of poetry. When we hear a fine poet, we say that they have tasted Odin's gift. There, that is the story of the mead of poetry and how it was given to the world. It is a story filled with dishonor and deceit, with murder and trickery, but it is not quite the whole story. There is one more thing to tell you. The delicate among you should stop your ears or read no further. Here is the last thing, and a shameful admission it is. When the All-Father in eagle form had almost reached the vats, with Sudding immediately behind him, Odin blew some of the mead out of his behind. A splattery wet fart of foul-smelling mead right in Sudding's face, blinding the giant and throwing him off Odin's trail. No one then or now wanted to drink the mead that came of Odin's ass. But whenever you hear bad poets declaiming their bad poetry, filled with foolish smiles and ugly rhymes, you will know which of the meads they have tasted. So, there we go. That's the story of how poetry came into the world. And when you see those guys, when you see any of those people out there who, like, the people who think they can sing and think that they can write poetry or think that they're really good at, like, the guitar or whatever, and they're terrible, well, guess which mead they have tasted. The mead that came out of Odin's ass. That is why that is one of my favorite stories. I think that one is beautiful. So that is the end of it, and I need to get to the Sea of Thieves. I will put this up on my YouTube with the other one. I'm gonna make a separate playlist, which will be one of them will be dog walks, and one of them will be Norse mythology, because I'm gonna read the whole book, and then after that I'm gonna read. I'm probably gonna read some of the Greek mythology, and I'm gonna do some short stories. I'm gonna read some of the short stories books that I have, because I've got some really good ones. So just if you're interested in hearing more, keep coming back. And otherwise, it was a good read, and thanks for stopping by, you two. And I hope to see more people at the next reading. The next reading I will announce a little earlier. This one was I didn't have enough time to announce it, so I did get what I could, and at least I finished it finally. I really have to get going though, because I'm already late for my Sea of Thieves. I'm finishing. So yesterday we did Sea of Thieves Tall Tale number 9. We're on the Shores of Gold. We got I think halfway through it. We inserted all four of the we figured out all four of the secrets, and we were able to put all of the four seals into the stone monument. um, and now we got to start figuring out the rest of the tall tale. So tall tale number 9 will be coming up, and limits. I promise you, Monday, I will play Apex. If you have Monday free to play Apex, I will play Apex with you. So just yeah, sorry I can't do it today, but tomorrow I can do Apex, and